All right, everybody, welcome back for another deep dive. Today, we're going deep into the world of AI.
AI.
But, with a little bit of a twist, we're going to be talking about two companies. You might not think of them as like the biggest players.
Right.
When you think about AI, you think of companies like Google and Microsoft and,
OpenAI.
OpenAI, all that stuff.
For sure.
There's a really fascinating battle brewing between Meta, which we all know of for Facebook and Instagram,
Of course.
and this company called DeepSeek, which you might not have heard of, but it's a really interesting
It is.
kind of David and Goliath story. So are you ready to dive in?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Okay, so first of all, both these companies got into the game of making these large language models.
Yes.
These LLMs.
A little bit late.
A little bit late, right?
Yeah. Comparatively, yeah, they're a little bit behind some of the other big players.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But their approaches are so different. I think that's what makes this so interesting.
Absolutely.
So let's start with Meta.
Okay.
Now, we all know Meta for their social media platforms, right?
Mhm.
Facebook, Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
But they've actually been building a lot of AI expertise kind of behind the scenes.
Yes, they have. I mean, think about it. Their platforms already use a ton of AI, for things like content moderation and targeted advertising.
Right.
And then they have this huge advantage when it comes to resources, right?
Yeah.
I mean, just think about how much they invested in those GPUs, for their metaverse projects,
Yeah.
which, haven't really panned out.
Not so much.
Not so much. So now they're kind of repurposing those to train these powerful AI models.
So they're basically using their metaverse missteps to fuel their AI ambitions.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, they've got the hardware and they've got the data. So,
Yeah.
they're in a pretty good position.
Okay, so we know they got the resources, but how are they actually going head-to-head with these established players like OpenAI, right? How are they challenging ChatGPT?
Well, I think their main strategy revolves around Llama. Have you heard of Llama?
You heard of Llama, yeah.
Especially version 3.3. They've made it open source, so anyone can access and use it for free.
Yeah, no, that's a pretty big deal, right? Because OpenAI, they keep their code proprietary.
Exactly.
And they charge for access.
Exactly. So this is a direct challenge to their business model.
It's very interesting. It reminds me of what Meta did with PyTorch.
Yeah, absolutely.
When they made that open source, which totally changed the game in the deep learning world.
Huge, yeah.
So are they trying to do something similar here?
I think so. I mean, it's a classic Meta move, right? Democratize access to powerful technology.
Yeah.
Prevent monopolies,
Yeah, yeah. But are there any potential downsides to that?
Oh, of course. I mean, the big question is whether this open approach could actually lead to faster innovation or if it could open the door for, I don't know. Misuse, yeah.
Right, so it's like a double-edged sword.
That.
Very interesting. Okay, so that's Meta.
Okay.
Now let's talk about DeepSeek.
Okay.
Which is a totally different story.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, this is a Chinese company, and they're dealing with a whole other set of challenges, right? Because they have all these embargoes restricting their access to high-powered GPUs.
Yeah, which are basically the building blocks of these models, right?
So it's like trying to, I don't know.
Bake a cake without an oven?
Yeah, bake a cake without an oven, yeah.
Right.
That's a pretty good analogy.
Yeah.
So, but they're still competing.
They are.
With these big players. How are they doing that?
Right. Well, their V3 chatbot, which is also open source, by the way.
Okay.
It's performing incredibly well.
Really?
Even, rivaling some of the most advanced models out there.
Wow.
And they're doing it all at a fraction of the cost.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, how are they doing this? Are they cutting corners?
Well, that's the thing. There's some speculation that they might be finding really creative ways to actually use OpenAI's tools despite the embargo.
Oh, wow. So they're like hacking the system, basically.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, it really speaks to their resourcefulness and their ingenuity.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got Meta with all their resources, and their open source strategy. Then we have DeepSeek, who's like MacGyvering their way
to
success.
Exactly.
So, what does this all mean for the future of AI?
Well, I think it shows that we're heading towards a more like fragmented, dynamic AI ecosystem.
Okay.
Right? Open source models are becoming more and more important. And this could actually shift the balance of power away from those big tech companies we were talking about earlier,
Yeah.
the Googles, the Microsofts,
Yeah.
and more towards smaller, more agile players like DeepSeek.
So instead of a few companies controlling everything,
Right.
we might see a more diverse landscape where innovation can come from anywhere.
Exactly. And, that raises a really important question for everyone listening. As AI development gets easier and more accessible,
Yeah.
are we going to see a shift in power from those established giants to smaller, more innovative companies?
Yeah.
And what's that going to mean for the future of AI?
That's a great question to think about.
It is.
It's something we all need to be considering as we move forward in this this rapidly evolving world.
Absolutely. It's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's our deep dive for today. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next time.